and it's really still anyone's game now. See, FlithyRich is facing some significant problems with these Hellions attacking his squad, supported by that Archon. His battle systems are not going to hold up to this. Those Hellions are made to disrupt a squad. If you have other squads that are firing in at them, then they will probably fall apart pretty quickly, or if you have good meleeers, they won't do very well. But the battle systems are not that great at melee, and having just a single squad like this is allowing the Hellions to really do their max amount of damage. They probably are still going to fall here, but that Archon is still going to stay engaged here. And they're not going to be able to kill that Archon with just that squad. He's going to need to bring in some support if he's going to save that group. Meanwhile, he is building some more Battle Sister squads. He's got his Celestian squad out now, so they're going to provide some pretty good firepower. The Celestian squads are the heavy infantry of the Sisters of Battle. They're very similar to the general Battle Sister squads, but they have heavier armor, better damage, and can equip more heavy weapons to them. So they're going to be a much better backbone for his forces. Meanwhile, again, we continue to see these groups attacking each other. That Hellion's going to probably die pretty quickly here. That Inferno turret, again, taking him out very quickly. Meanwhile, the Celestian squads are moving forward to help combat that Archon. They're going to be able to cause some damage, but it's going to be uncertain if they're going to be able to take him down or not. The Inferno pistol on that Celestian Veteran Superior is going to cause some serious damage. And with the second squad of Battlesters coming in, they've got a good chance of at least driving off this Archon, if not killing him outright. So we've got a, let's see, looks like a couple standard Melt-A-Guns going off now. Or those could be multi-meltas, actually. Nope, just standard Meltas. Alright. So those Melt-A-Guns are going to cause some good damage against heavy infantry, which the Archon classifies somewhat as that type. There is technically a hero unit with its own category of damage, but those Melt-A-Guns do cause good damage against heroes. Meanwhile, the Dark Eldar are continuing to get LPs up on their posts. They control the center of the map. Not a very good position for FlithyRich to be in. They're continuing to build more buildings around the map now. They've got their homunculus laboratory down, getting some more halls of blood built. Their production capability is going to be rather impressive at this point. FlithyRich is really lucky that he's up against a standard AI at this point. The number of production buildings out, if they're in the hands of a higher level AI, would be constantly making troops, and he would be in very serious trouble at this point. That said, so we did temporarily see the control area victory pop up for the Dark Eldar, but FlithyRich was able to quickly decap a point and reset that. Meanwhile, his forces are moving forward and taking out some of these center map listening posts. We've got some Scourge moving in to let loose with their splinter cannons. They're going to fall pretty quickly without any support. Meanwhile, that LP has fallen, so FlithyRich will be able to grab that point as well. He is dislodging the Dark Eldar from the center of the map. That is definitely a good thing for him. Meanwhile, he's got a Rhino transport taking on a squad of Hellions with support from his Inferno turret back in his base here. So those Hellions are not going to do hardly any damage to that vehicle. This is really a bizarre thing for the computer to be doing. Those Hellions are going to die rather quickly here. And there they have fallen. So, see, that Rhino transport may actually be stuck here. It's possible it could get around this side, but from the clipping on the side of the map, it's possible that Rhino transport is just stuck right now, which may explain why it's in the back here. He's going to get another one built, but again, he may not, if that comes out on the side, he may not be able to get it out. Meanwhile, he does have the Archon and a Reaver jet bike moving in against his territory here. He's got another Inferno turret going down. If he can get that up, that will certainly help fend off that Archon. But he is going to lose this listening post. Again, it does not appear that Rich has realized that he can upgrade his LPs with both their Lauder and to the LP2 to give them their melt-a-guns. So that Inferno turret was prevented from being finished by that Archon, taking it out there. So FlithyRich is actually in a bit of trouble at the moment. He needs to get some of his forces back to his base to defend here, unless he decides to just... Okay, so he's getting a Celestian squad out, rebuilding another Ecclesiarchal Servitor, perhaps to help rebuild that Pristine Sanctuary, but we'll see what happens here. The Celestian squad is out now. They're getting their Veteran Superior as well as a couple Melt-a-Guns built. They're going to move out and help fight against that Archon. We do have additional Reaver Bikes moving in here. These Reaver Bikes are pretty powerful attackers. They're kind of a light vehicle and can be easily taken out by anti-vehicle fire, but they are very good against infantry, and their speed allows them to get around the map quickly. They're generally overall good support vehicles, and they're fairly cheap for the Dark Eldar to build. So I'd expect to see more of those in this match. Meanwhile, it looks like they are going to be taking out that Archon. Now they just have to try to take out these jet bikes. And again, you can see how quickly they're falling to those to the Melt-a-Guns, which cause good damage to vehicles. However, the firepower of those jet bikes has taken out those Celestial squads. The combined forces of all of his troops have finished taking out the rest of the jet bikes and are taking out another one that's coming in for support. Again, not quite as fast without Melt-a-Guns trained on it, but still pretty good damage coming across. Also taking out this Tower of Loathing that was kind of defiantly built on the outside of his territory here. Another jet bike was trying to come in, but was quickly taken out by that Celestian squad with a multi-melta. Those multi-meltas cause absolutely devastating damage to vehicles. Definitely a very good thing to equip onto a Celestian squad. Meanwhile, the Dark Eldar, again, have taken serious damage in the center. They've still got one listing post. FlithyRich has not actually built any LPs in the center to secure it, but he does have the requisition secured at least.
Celestian squad!
Another Celestian squad comes out. Meanwhile, we do have another Hollow Blood being built by the Dark Eldar. They've gotten a rather insane number of production buildings out at this point. Again, this is a bit of a glitch in the AI for the Dark Eldar. It's sort of a situation of once they've been pushed to the brink of extinction, they, in terms of building structures, take a higher level AI. So it's actually building on a hard AI level at the moment in terms of the structures, but it is still on standard AI for the infantry and the vehicles. This means that, again, it will continue to only build what it thinks is necessary. So that said, it doesn't have very much to defend with at the moment, and FlithyRich is moving in with some very heavy firepower. He's going to be causing some very heavy damage very quickly here. As long as he keeps his squads together and focusing firepower, he's going to be wiping out several buildings. This is going to be quite good for his score, actually, as taking down structures boosts your military score significantly. He needs to get those Melt-a-Guns trained on that Reaver jet bike. His troops being in close combat with it are not doing much damage at all to it. That said, if he can bait them into moving forward, then he can actually retrain some of his heavier firepower on them. And there we go. We see those Melt-a-Guns just rip apart those jet bikes in seconds. Meanwhile, more buildings falling. With this kind of a force moving forward, he could likely actually wipe through this base and take it out. But he does have his work cut out for him, as he will have to continue up the map and take out this other expansion that the Dark Eldar have. So it's going to take him a little while to actually take out the Dark Eldar if this is a successful push. And due to the Dark Eldar's comeback from the last one, I'm going to have to let this one play out and see how it goes. Because even if he does wipe out this base, the Dark Eldar may actually still come back and get a strong force to combat him with. We do see another Hollow Blood falling there. This fourth one is going to be going down pretty quickly with the number of Melt-a-Guns trained on it. Indeed, it has fallen. The fifth Hollow Blood going down very quickly as well. The Archon is causing some mayhem in the background here, but is being forced to kind of hang around the background lest you get too far forward and get attacked by too many of these heavy weapons. And immediately we do see the Dark Eldar trying to put another Hall of Blood down there and getting destroyed immediately. They're spending a lot of resources trying to build those Halls of Blood, but the amount of firepower coming down is going to prevent that. That Dark Foundry is going to go down quickly as well. Now that the Battle Sisters are moving in, they're blocking the ability to build in those areas. FlithyRich has decapped that point, a very wise decision, taking away some more requisition points from his enemy. Some of his forces are falling back. That's a bit of an odd choice. Probably take on this Raider. So, again, those melta guns turning that Raider are going to help take it down pretty quickly, and the Raider, without support from a warrior squad, is not going to cause very much damage at all. Meanwhile, it appears that he's actually moving up here to attack the Tower of Loathing. Again, not a terrible call. It's going to reduce the firepower coming in on him. And he's going to quickly turn and take out those jet bikes as well. Meanwhile, his other forces move forward and is dropping down the Cabal Fortress. We are probably going to see the fall of this main base at this point. FlithyRich does seem to have his forces pulled together rather well. Again, we see how quickly those multi-melters really tear apart those vehicles. So we don't really see the Dark Eldar doing much at the moment to combat this. Again, their AI is not very robust. They're continuing to build jet bikes to try to combat, because their AI is telling them that they're being attacked by infantry, so they're building vehicles to help against infantry. But FlithyRich does wisely have several squads with anti-vehicle weapons, and those vehicles are falling very quickly. So we do see the Infernal Pistol going off with the Veteran Superiors at the moment. Those do cause good damage against buildings, so that's helping drop this Cabal Fortress pretty quickly. Cabal Fortresses do have a lot of hit points, so you wouldn't normally see them dropping as fast as just 2 squads of troops. But those Inferno Pistols, again, causing a significant amount of damage per tick. Meanwhile, his Celestians have finished off the Archon and are now moving forward to continue taking out this Dark Foundry here. Possibly going to move forward to try to take on that Tower of Loathing, but looks like at the moment focusing fire on that Dark Foundry. So the Cabal Fortress is down. FlithyRich's forces are continuing to move forward now, pushing through the base, finishing it off. He is in a strong position to finish off this map now. All he really has to do is push up the flank here and finish off all the production buildings, which is really down just this Dark Foundry in this area, and then the Halls of Blood that were built up here, and then he'll have just annihilation victory in the bag. So he's going to take out that other Tower of Loathing there, which will get rid of the last significant conflict that he had in this area. So this is just a matter of mopping up the other buildings. He does still need to take out that Dark Foundry in order to prevent more Reaver jet bikes from coming out, but again, not a significant issue here. His squads are going to be able to take out that jet bike at minimum once his Celestian squad moves in here. That said, it's taking a little while to move them in, allowing them to whittle through those buildings first. So we do have, and they're actually going to be interrupted here by Archon and some Witches coming in. So those Witches are actually going to provide some pretty good damage against this Celestian squad. That said, his Canoness is stuck into this group and is going to be able to combat that Archon pretty heavily. He's got a pretty good chance of actually taking out these Witches. They're definitely a very good close combat troop, but the Celestian squad is decently good as well. And again, with the support of that Canoness, we're going to be able to resist this pretty well. That said, the Warrior squad in the background is going to be continuing to cause some heavy damage. Does successfully take out that Canoness. Looks like it's actually going to be a pretty close match here. The Celestians may actually get wiped out before they finish off that Archon. Indeed, they do. So the Celestian squad is wiped out, the Archon's almost dead, and the Witch squad is almost wiped out as well. But the got a couple squads of Warriors moving in now to push back. Still has not finished off the jet bikes, as they've not been able to wipe out that Dark Foundry quick enough. And we may actually see a pushback here. The Dark Eldar may actually salvage their base here. They do not have a Cabal Fortress down again yet, though, so they're they're not going to be able to continue with their higher upgrades, and they may indeed actually be out of builders. If they're out of tortured slaves, then they're not going to be able to make any more buildings, and this is effectively just a battle of attrition for the Dark Eldar then at this point. Though, if they can grab some points, they could try for an area victory. However, if we look at the requisition, the Dark Eldar are still actually ahead on the resource race. So if they can just keep cranking out troops, they may actually be able to pull off a victory here. FlithyRich is now getting another Inferno turret built. He spent a lot of requisition on reinforcing and equipping his troops there, so he doesn't really have much to go on at the moment. He's a bit resource-starved. His Ecclesiarchal Servitor was killed there. That Inferno turret is not going to be finished, and his listening post is not upgraded with anything, so he's not going to be able to push back here. This is actually looking a bit grim. This is a pretty strong force moving in here. A lot of warrior squads supported by an Archon and a couple Reaver jet bikes. He does have a couple Celestial squads that are going to provide some pretty stiff resistance here, but that is a lot of firepower to fight against. His Rhino transport is sitting in the background, firing into that, trying to help out a bit. Things, again, are looking pretty grim for FlithyRich at the moment.